First off, before we start the video, I'm just going to go ahead and point out, yes, I did burn my face. I was trying to curl my wig and literally slapped myself in the face with the wand. So there's that. But anyways, here is a full endometriosis update, just like I had promised. As you guys know, I had an appointment at the Center of Endometriosis Care in Atlanta this past week. And I stated on multiple occasions that this was probably going to be one of the most important doctor visits of my life. So I gave you guys like the brief rundown on my social media about what was said, and that is I'm having another surgery. I know there are a few of you who are super invested in the whole entire process of me trying to find treatment and get back to a healthy life. So this is just going to be a full update on the doctor's appointment and what all happened and how I'm feeling, and then details on surgery. So we're just gonna get into it. So basically the doctor that I had an appointment with is ranked top 10 in the world as far as gynecologists are concerned. And he is also a specialist in excising endometriosis. So it was a very big deal that I was able to get an appointment with him. He's also won countless awards for being a compassionate doctor, which, as you guys know, is really, really hard to find. So I was really excited to go into this appointment and just like sit down and hear what he has to say. So I ended up waiting in the waiting room for about an hour and a half. They ended up forgetting about me, which is fine, it happens. I guess there was some mix-up and they thought that I never showed up to my appointment when I did. So after the initial hour and a half wait, they were very apologetic, and you could tell they were kind of like stepping up their game because they had already forgotten about me. But the whole entire staff there was very, very loving, very kind, very willing to listen and just like work with me. After waiting that long time, I was brought into a room where the doctor was. I had my mom and dad come with me because basically every single doctor's appointment I end up having like a mental breakdown and crying through the whole entire thing, because doctor visits just give me like a lot of anxiety, and then there's like a lot of pressure on me to communicate effectively, and I have a really hard time feeling like I'm conveying what it is that I'm feeling. So then I get really just like flustered, and then I end up just crying. So my mom and dad were there just for moral support and to help advocate for me and speak for me if I was unable. Luckily, I got through the whole entire thing without crying. I honestly think that's the first doctor's appointment where I didn't cry at all during, so I'm kind of proud of myself for that. So we sat down with the doctor and we kind of just went over my symptoms. I told him everything that was wrong with my life, everything that I'm kind of experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And he looked over my pictures from my last surgery to see where the endo was located and kind of like what my past surgeon did. And I don't think I've ever explained this in a past video before, but basically there's two ways to get rid of endometriosis in surgery. One of those is called ablation, which is just burning the endo, and then the other one is excision, which is cutting the endo out. But the more you research endometriosis and the more you learn about endometriosis, the more you realize that ablation surgery is a big no-no, because basically if they're burning it off, they are only burning and getting rid of what's on the surface level of your organs, and endometriosis has roots that travel down the tissue, so ablation really isn't that good of an option. Unfortunately, when I had my first surgery, I was so desperate for a diagnosis and I just didn't know any better, so I had an ablation surgery. So I was concerned going into the appointment that even if he did okay the surgery, if he were to look around my organs, he wouldn't be able to find my past endometriosis because everything that was visible was burned. And he seemed very, very confident that once he opens me up, he is going to be able to visualize the past endo. And it wasn't even a concern for him. He was like, oh yeah, it's definitely still there. I'll be able to see it. So that kind of put that anxiety to rest. So basically after a few minutes talking, he did an ultrasound, and then we kind of came to the conclusion that yes, I will be having another surgery. And this one is a little more expensive than my previous one. The biggest difference is he is excising it and not doing an ablation. So my chances of being symptom-free or just living more of a normal life are a lot higher for this surgery than my last one. And he's also going to be looking around a bit more than my last surgeon did. He said that he was specifically going to look inside of my uterus and my bladder just based off of symptoms. He thinks that there might be a chance that my endo has perforated or, you know, attached itself to one of those. He also said if there was anything on my appendix, he was just going to go ahead and take my appendix out because I don't need it. So yeah, he's just going to be really thorough. He's going to excise the previous endo that was found and any new endo that he stumbles across that has either grown since my last surgery or my last surgeon missed. So it should be really good. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. I was just emailed my pre-op and post-op forms the other day. It was like 70 pages worth of information, and of course I read all of it because I obsess over stuff like this. It did mention the likelihood of a potential secondary diagnosis, as well as because it takes so long to diagnose endometriosis, by the time that it is found and they go in there to take it out, sometimes the damage is kind of irreversible. So they are definitely careful not to get your hopes up too much. There is a strong chance that I will be healthier after this, but there's no promise that I'm going to be perfectly normal, which I would like to emphasize that to all of my friends and family around who are convinced that I'm gonna have a normal life after this, but nothing is guaranteed. And I would just like to also remind you guys that my last surgery, my doctor promised me at least 5 years of a symptom-free life, and within 2 weeks I was back to being chronically ill. So definitely don't get your hopes up. I'm not getting my hopes up, trying not to get my hopes up. So yeah, there's that. Surgery is on January 31st, so it's literally less than 2 weeks from now, which was kind of shocking to me. I figured because he was so highly ranked and people fly all over the country to see him, that if I did get a surgery, it was going to be booked like 6 months out. So the fact that I walked in there and then walked out with a surgery booked for like 2.5 weeks later was very impressive to me. I am a little anxious just because I've only had one other surgery my whole entire life, and this is going to be more extensive than the last surgery. But I also have just peace of mind knowing that I'm in really good hands. He's very highly ranked and he genuinely cares about his patients. It really was best case scenario. That whole entire doctor's appointment was truly the best outcome I could have asked for, so I'm really grateful for that. I am planning on doing a surgery vlog, so if you guys want to see or know anything in specific about surgery or anything like that, feel free to either comment below or just message me on social media and let me know your requests. My mom has volunteered to film the morning of my surgery when I am not able, so I'm gonna give her a list of things to kind of hit on. Because surgery is kind of happening last minute, I don't know if I'm going to be posting consistently on YouTube for the next couple weeks, just because there's a lot of stuff to do in preparation for having surgery, and I kind of feel like I don't have a lot of time. So if I'm not very consistent in my posting the next couple weeks, just know it will level out eventually. My life is just kind of chaos right now, but I do have lots of video ideas for the future, and I'm really excited to do all of those. Thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel below for more content. I feel like the past couple of videos have just kind of been filling you guys in on my chaotic life, but just know there are more fun videos coming in the future once I get my life back in order. So yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!